Hello there and welcome to Lambert Cottage. Flosstube, I believe this is number 6. Anyway, I wanted to start with today's episode talking about boro stitching. Boro is a traditional Japanese technique where they repair clothes and they make the patches look actually pretty. So they stitch on the patches where you can see the patches, but the stitch work makes it look pretty. And so I'm wanting to add to my wreath sampler here and do that technique with you because I love anything to do with sashiko and boro stitching and really anything that has to do with stitching. So that is what I'm going to do today. And normally you see a lot of boro stitching on denim fabric. This is a linen denim, and so I'm going to make a wreath using these patches and boro stitching. So all I'm gonna do is cut a few little patches here and start the wreath with you. And I'm thinking, I always go on this side for some reason and then I work my way this way. I don't know why, because we read left to right. Maybe I'll just start this way. So, but first I want to pin these down. I have to pin these little patches down. Well, you know what? I made this too, this little stitch book, by the way, needle book, a long time ago. I love it. Let's just cut out a few first. Let's do that. And I want to make them kind of random, like patches would be, instead of a bunch of squares. And I want it both the right side of the fabric and the wrong side. So that way it'll give me a lot of definition. Let's see. Let's see what shapes we can come up with. Maybe a triangle. Let's try a triangle. And let's cut this little piece off because I don't want this showing here. So make sure this is centered, good for you. I don't know if I like the triangle. Let's cut some more just normal pieces here. Maybe some more squares and just odd shapes. I think I'll like that better. And smaller shapes. So this is really a good idea to do if you have some very small scrap fabric. Just cut them up and make something with them. I think I'm going to alternate it like this. Let's see. Let's spread these out because obviously the goal here is to make a wreath shape, but I don't want it huge either, or we would be here all day. Let's see. I mean, seriously, something really simple. Okay, let's do one more piece. Let's do a long one. Or longer. And then we can get this all on here like that. So we've got to pin this down or this will be all over the place. So let's see. I was going to use my larger pins. And again, I just want to tack them down. I'm not really into making them super secure on here because they will be tacked down with the boro stitching. I just thought that would be so cute. And I have no idea what I'm going to do with this wreath sampler. So if you have any ideas, please leave them in the comments below. Excuse me, I am fighting a cold, so and the cold is winning. But yeah, if you have any ideas on what I can use this wreath sampler for, let me know. I'm going to fill this whole thing up, so with different samples of wreaths, and I just wanted to do this with you guys. Okay, get all the little thread pieces out. So I have these two colors here, and I'm going to start off with regular 6 strands, the 6 strands that come off of your floss tube. So, or floss, I call it Flosstube now because that's kind of a community thing. And I've got this sitting here. So I'm thinking I'm wanting to do like a weave pattern and, you know, kind of like a basket weave because I love baskets. And my saying is always out of the thread basket because I love anything to do with baskets. Okay. Cannot see. I did not bring my reading glasses, so bear with me here. But I wanted to do something that all of you could relate to, because we all have scraps and we all have different things we'd like to do, and we all like to make things pretty. So that's why I wanted to do this. Okay, so we'll do that green later. So what I'm gonna do, make sure I am centered here, is I'm just going to tack these down so we can pull the pins out and not get attacked by sharp points here. And I may or may not leave this basting stitch in here. That's the beauty of boro stitching, is it's made to look like it's purposely, the patching is purposely put there. I hope I'm making sense. But yeah, it's an old Japanese art. And you know what I picture? This is storytelling time. I love to tell stories. You know, every thread tells a story. That's what I always say. And I like to picture a Japanese grandma, and she's in her house, and she has her grandchildren that she's been watching. She has their clothes, and she was mending them, and some of them they've outgrown. So she goes down and she cuts up all these little pieces of their clothing and repurposes every piece, making them into material that she can use later. Well, there's lots of smaller pieces, and she just doesn't know what to do. We can take this pin out here. She doesn't know. She knows that she can't make anything with it for the children because the material, the outfits were small, therefore the material is small, but she can use pieces of it to make things. And so she gets out their old blue jeans, and the little girl had a little blue jean dress, and she gets it out and starts creating something beautiful. And she says, what can I make with all these scraps? So she thought, I could make a quilt, but she decided not to do that because that would take too long, and she had lots to do. She had lots of children she was watching in her home. Many grandchildren. What a blessing. So she thought, I want to make gifts for them for their upcoming birthdays. And so the little girl, she thought, what could I do for the little girl? And she had one little girl and lots of boys. And she thought, well, I will make her a doll. So she gets out all the stitching from the little girl's old clothes and makes her a doll. And she wanted to make the doll something special. She's made her many dolls before, but she wanted this doll to be something very special. So she gets out her little sewing kit and makes a beautiful little doll. And she put it away for her birthday. And on this doll, she made a pretty little tiny dress. And this dress was something that this little girl always wanted. She always described to her grandmother what kind of dress she would like for a party. Well, they were very poor, and so the grandmother didn't have enough fabric or money to make her a dress, but she could certainly make it for her little doll. And she went all out. And on this dress, this party dress, was this beautiful boro stitching. And grandmother used to make lots of baskets. She would weave baskets in and out. And the little girl was enamored by all of these baskets that she made. So what she did was she made a basket weave in her boro stitching on this beautiful little dress. And that's what she created for the little girl. And that's what I'm making here. So as you can see, I am just weaving in and out. I'm going under, over, and then the next line, over, under. So now I'm going to go over, under, over, under. And I'm not going to go all the way. I'm not going to go all the way to the end, because if you see a lot of boro stitching designs, it's not always over to just the end. So I do want to put some of the green in there, but I still have some more of this golden thread left over. So let's make another little stitch here. And this is called seed stitching. So if you know about different stitches, this is called seed stitching. It's just little tiny stitches that basically look like little seeds when you're finished. And a lot of boro stitching has beautiful seed stitching. This is very common for boro stitching because it's very easy. There's no pattern to it. You just stitch and you just make pretty little stitches. And see, I don't know if I'm going to take out this basting stitch or not, because, and see, you don't even have to do your hand over and under. You can just keep it on top of your fabric if you want. But I don't know if I'm going to take out the basting stitch. It just depends on what it looks like in the end, and if I can even cover it, if it makes sense. If it looks like a basting stitch, I'll probably take it out. So I don't want to go through it. I can go over it, but I don't want to go through it. And so you just do lots of little seed stitches. And speaking of seeds, the little boy, she wanted to make him something very special for his birthday. The little boy had a little pocket full, always full of not only seeds from fruit trees, but he would pack them full of rocks and little things, little trinkets he would find along the river bend. And he loved collecting things. So grandmother thought, I know what I will make him. I will make him a bag, a little bag to carry them all in, because he always complained that his pockets weren't big enough to hold everything, all his little treasures. And he never knew where to put these little treasures. So they would just get all over the floor, and grandmother would vacuum and accidentally vacuum up some of these treasures. So he needed a cute little canvas bag to put all his treasures in. So that's what she did. And she made it with all his old blue jeans and some of his plaid shirts that he had outgrown. She made little patches with little seed stitches, and it kind of mimicked a little rocks and kind of a zen look. Have you ever seen them do that in the sand, where they scrape things with a rake and they put stones in different places? That was kind of the idea of the pattern she wanted to do. So she made him a canvas bag, and that was her favorite thing that turned out. She really liked it, and she wanted to make herself one, but she had one more grandson to make for. Okay, this one is too thin, and I wanted to use 6 strands. So her last grandson, he was into soccer. He loved soccer, and she thought, what can I make for a little boy who loves soccer? So she thought about this for a few days, and she thought, what do little boys need? Well, they also need a bag to keep their cleats in, and their soccer ball, and their shin guards. So she made him a carry-all bag, kind of like a duffel bag. He was the older of the grandchildren. He was the oldest, and so she made him a duffel bag. Hang on, let me get this. Oh, I can't see worth anything. And that duffel bag was really neat. She took a lot of his old clothes that he wore in grade school, and she made him a little duffel bag. Well, it wasn't very little. It was big enough to carry his soccer ball in. And she made it out of his old school, some of his clothes, his t-shirts, his school t-shirts. She made them into patches, but where you could still see the school's logo. And she cut out all of the logos out of all the shirts, and she made him a bag. She stitched together lots of blue jean material. These children had lots of blue jean material, and she had saved and saved for them. So she made all these little scraps, put them together, and made a bag. And she made him a bag that had a real big pocket in the middle, and it had a pocket on the inside and a pocket on the outside. The pocket on the outside was just perfect for any sports drink that he may want to get, although he really loved water the most. He didn't care for all the sports drinks that his friends had. He liked pure clean water, because they grew up where they couldn't afford all the fancy drinks and things like that. So he learned to love water, and he knew it was best for him. So she made him this duffel bag, and it had a cute little place for his drinks. So I'm trying to do this a circle here, and I cannot see. Okay. So she had, in the end, 3 presents for these little darlings, all made with boro stitching. And all she had were scraps of fabric, but she made something meaningful and something beautiful with all of them. So what I'm gonna do here, now that story time is over, I am going to speed this up and let you follow along. Okay, so I have pretty much what I wanted. Right now I'm just trying to get all the threads, and as you can see, I started taking out the basting stitch because the basting stitch did not make sense after my pattern was done, all said and done here. So we're gonna take that out and pull this out, although it's probably stitched on pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty close. I mean, it's on there because of the seed stitch. Seed stitch is a really good stitch to use if you're trying to really get your threads down. Instead of making a knot, you can do a little seed stitch, and it's not going anywhere, as you can see. So what I'm gonna do is just trim this off the top. There's another basting stitch, although those look okay there. This one is an eyesore on these little French knots. So I'm gonna take these out. And what I may have to do is do a little French knot if that doesn't stay down. Okay, I hope I'm keeping all this in camera. I guess I will find out when I go to edit this, which I like these to pretty much be as raw and unedited as I possibly can make them, because I want you to see the real-time struggles and things of a stitcher. We all go through them. So didn't that turn out cute? I love it. I love it. So, and then we've got all these. I need to tack those down some more. This is on a video too. It's actually a short that's gone really good, but my long video on this doesn't have as many views because I edited it before it, right as soon as it uploaded, which is a big mistake, but that's okay. But you guys can see that on my Flosstube videos. I think it was number 5 or something. I don't know, I'm losing track. But didn't that turn out so cute? So follow me. If you haven't followed me, follow me for some more, because I will be doing these on my whole Flosstube series. I will be doing different wreaths, showing you different things you can do. And like I said, if you have some ideas what I can do with this, see, we've got all of this that I still have to do. So that many more wreaths. Should I frame it? Should I should I put it on a canvas bag like the Japanese grandmother? Or what should I do? If you have any ideas, let me know. And again, follow me and you will see a lot more, and hit that notification bell because I'm always doing something. Talk to y'all soon. Bye-bye.